And we are back, folks. Welcome back to the Esports Rewind podcast. Hello, Zane.
Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing? Jake, how are you this week?
I am doing good, man. Nice and tired, but also nice and energized. What a great mix that is, man.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Makes you feel half crazed. Yeah.
Literally, I do feel insane, especially after all these stories we've had in the past week or so. As per usual, we enjoy you guys being here to listen to us talk about the latest and greatest and craziest in the esports and gaming news. Zan, any statements, or are we ready to roll?
Yeah, I mean, real quick, just as always, if you'd like to catch the Esports Rewind podcast on the go on your favorite podcast platform of choice, find us on iTunes and Spotify as part of the Prediction Esports Talk Show Network. Check it out.
And now we're going to break down some of the craziest stories we have seen. Let's roll. All right, Zan, this first one should come as no surprise to you. That's going to be the crazy week in Fortnite we saw. I'm going to now talk about 4 different stories fast. And how my mental works when it comes time for this show. I often just vent in your direction about the things I get to cover in videos. And I say get to cover, but also when it comes to the Fortnite scene, the hecticness, the craziness. I hope that years from now, people look back and realize how crazy the Fortnite pro scene is. So the first event happening this past week was the Tfue trend. It was actually started by American Dad Live and then definitely sparked in the Fortnite scene by a guy like Tfue.
Yeah.
You already know what I'm talking about.
Of course.
That being the naked bathroom selfies. And I say naked because we didn't see anything. We didn't see any ding-a-lings
Thankfully.
or doobie-doos, but they were technically naked. Tfue, Gorgo, even Aiden thrown in there, and several other creators. I apologize for not naming all of them, but if you guys want to watch the video, you can. That was one thing, right? And that's actually a great start to the week. It really energizes me to cover
just some nonsense, just like
naked Fortnite pro players. And
because in what other scene would that happen?
literally, this is not a thing. Okay, this is not a thing anywhere else.
Yeah.
I do enjoy it. As long as it's appropriate.
Well,
and I don't want to go anywhere deeper. Okay, we're gonna keep on talking about some other hectic things. That being Serpent AU, a Fortnite player and creative on the YouTube scene, for 540 plus K subscribers, 34 plus million views. He was actually outed this past week for using macros, which is breaking rules, technically cheating, and his own teammate and owner of Overtime, GG, actually exposing him eventually. It would actually first come out he was exposed. Then he had his own response video. People thought, oh, maybe he's not guilty. And then his own teammate finally came out and said, yeah, from the very start of all of this, he was macroing. So tens of thousands of dollars earned from macroing.
That's not great. I mean, I appreciate the integrity it took to come forward after the fact, but I mean, maybe do that a little earlier before the tens of thousands of dollars get
itself,
like,
obviously very crazy. That brought to light other macro events we'll talk about very shortly. I wanted to bring this up because I cannot make a video on this currently because I do not have to respond. Did you see Clix and his?
I did not. There's too much this week.
I
missed some of the Fortnite drama.
Clix, 15 years old.
Yeah, very young.
He posted a random TikTok and said that this very young.
Was that this?
Yes.
Time flies. That feels like literally months ago.
It was this week. He had this TikTok up and said this girl is really effing hot. I didn't know how to react because he's also 15. The girl is supposedly 12 or 14 and may or may not be his cousin. The weird part is he is affiliated with an esports organization. He is saying this very, very young girl is effing hot, even if she is or is not his cousin. I'm not. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay. Moving on.
Can you just not? Just leave it at that. Just don't.
Hopefully you guys can understand. It's just really weird for me to cover this. Anyway, very lastly as well, speaking of macro, we actually had Zate, another NRG affiliated Fortnite pro player, now accusing a handful of pro players, including Tfue, 3 separate times of also using macros, going on to state he's not going to be banned for it, though, because he's Fortnite's biggest streamer. And that's all I got for you, Zan. That was Fortnite's crazy week.
That's all?
I don't necessarily need a response from you on that to wrap it up. But, you guys can understand, obviously, why Fortnite is so crazy, continues to be crazy to cover. And that's 4 stories in a single 4 days that just blew me away.
All right, Jake. So quick update on the Overwatch scene, as we had a big piece of news this week as they rolled back one of the most controversial changes we've seen in Overwatch's history.
Yes, they did.
Just earlier this week, Jeff Kaplan, the game director for Overwatch, announced that they will be removing hero pools from the game entirely. The exact wording was they'll be taken out indefinitely with no plans on adding them back in. So, I mean, I'm excited personally, not that This just seems like a good thing for the game in general. Do you have any thoughts?
This is going to sound terrible because I think we've seen a stagnation, if not a fall off of the Overwatch scene. I have not been following it too closely, and I do apologize to you guys for that. I know when we initially covered the introduction of all of this, it definitely a big thing was it was a huge addition of stress to the players' already strenuous lives. And so, yeah, I would say the pullback of this, I would say I've not even gauged the general reaction so far.
Well, yeah, I can give you a general overview of how it was received. Initially, a lot of the more, not to say casual, but the less competitive players of Overwatch were pretty happy about the change. Because like you said, the meta in Overwatch has been very stagnant for super long periods of time, for years, in fact, and just banning some heroes did indeed bring like some new creativity to the game. But like you said, pros kind of hated it because it made their lives 100 times harder. Because how do you coach a team that, 1 week we may not have that character available to us,
Yeah.
And that on top of all the other stress that we saw involving like the travel, how many like
the
pros
meta changes
were retiring, like super young, super early.
It was obvious, right? And I think at the very least, especially with this pandemic, possibly, I don't know how it's going to affect Overwatch 2. And then
that's some question.
We have more news coming out on Overwatch League and potentially some teams trying to get out. I mean, you guys got to realize with all these pros, at least considering, I think certainly a lot of them probably are considering, a handful of others, especially from contenders, have already left. Blizzard, and especially in recent light, they've been under fire for other things we've talked about here on this channel. They've got to be wondering, what can we do to retain some sort of audience, whether it be casual and competitive. The decisions they continue to make, like this one, are probably going to keep on being big and maybe slightly controversial. We can only hope they are to the overall benefit of the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to see, I would say, a dev finally being really under some pressure to make some great changes, and I'm excited to see what they continue to do in the future as well.
Yeah, I mean, to give them some credit, when they announced it initially, Jeff did say, hey, guys, if it doesn't work out, we're taking it out of the game.
Yeah.
And they lived up to that. They
lived up to their word.
They took it out.
Can be a rarity when it comes to gaming and esports. So I'll give them credit where it's due. I'm excited to see what other changes they make in the future to keep on going in the right direction and hopefully make some sort of bounce back.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Jake. So one of the few good things, I don't know if I'd say good necessarily, let's call it amusing instead. One of the few amusing things that's come out of this whole uprising, the series of protests and backlash that many companies and individuals are seeing lately, has been all the companies being exposed for like super randomly racist stuff, like cartoonishly racist, and then saying like, oh yeah, we know we've been doing this for years, but now we're stopping. I'd like to share with you one specific example that I just find hilarious because it's so blatant. Personally. And today, Wizards of the Coast, the company that makes Magic the Gathering, one of the biggest card games in the world, recently become a huge esport as well. Their Mythic Championship series are doing amazing things. But anyway, they banned 7 aggressively racist cards from the game that have been in the game since
racist cards?
Yeah, racist cards. Like super these are bad. And to be fair, these aren't recent cards. They weren't made I think these are like late 1900s that these were made or early 2000s,
Okay.
So they do get a little bit of leeway there, but like for the card descriptions themselves, it's
late 1900s.
Yeah.
So like 1990s.
1990s, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, but anyway, just to give you a couple examples of like some of the craziest ones.
It's really weird seeing your phone because if you guys, I feel like a lot of people can relate to this. I see the MTG Magic the Gathering cards. I remember so many garage sales seeing those cards. And sorry.
Yeah, just all over the place. Like this is the card. Like
like
for trading cards.
So hit me with it.
Yeah. Okay. So the first one I want to talk to you about is Cleanse. It's called Cleanse. It's called Cleanse, and what it does is all black creatures in play are destroyed. And to be fair, in this game, there are different colors for each type of mana or energy. So there's like white, black, red, green, and they just really went for the jugular on that one. Like no, ooh.
I should not be laughing.
Yeah, it's.
I apologize.
It's funny in how ridiculous it is that they actually printed these.
Yeah.
There's another one called Crusade that says all white creatures get +1/+1 attack and defense. There are several others relating to Islamic faith, to slavery, to gypsies, to stoning of, different
Can you
religions.
read the slavery one out loud?
Yeah, it's called Imprison, and it pay 1 each time target creature attempts to attack, block, or tap, and then just a bunch of magic stuff that's detailed.
So slavery being the overall.
Yeah, with a black guy on as the card imagery.
Okay,
with
I didn't see that part.
Yeah.
All right, that looks, yes.
My
bad.
Yeah, it's just like, It is amazing how all this stuff has stayed in like so many different games and so many different areas for years.
It's amazing how much this movement has sparked all of this or rehashed all of this, and
Yeah,
people
absolutely.
have been doing their diving and digging back into esports organizations or Riot Games and Blizzard. You know, Riot Games and Blizzard obviously being a lot more recent, so easier to touch on. But people going back and saying, hey, I remember like 5, 6, 7 cards that, you know, definitely offended me, and now is the, you know, at the very least, you know, this movement is obviously having a lot of not so great things come of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But some changes are being made because of it.
Positive at the end of the day. The company was like, hey, we don't stand by these cards at all. That was a mistake on our part. So you know, that's why they're being banned. Another funny thing that's come out of this is now racists are buying these cards at an extremely inflated price because they're like, this is our culture. We got to support it. They're going for like literally tens of thousands of dollars.
Are you kidding me?
No, I wish I was.
Check your decks, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, hey, see if you got any cards that might have like, you know, some racist undertones.
This is such a weird
maybe
time.
Make some cash.
Yeah, some good things, some not so good things.
Yeah, unfortunately.
We'll see what happens next. And probably the biggest story of this podcast, but not really doing too well here on the channel, that's going to be FaZeClan Universe. I think it's going to continue to be a gigantic talking point, Zan, because...
Yeah, it's a first. First of all, it's a first for esports.
Yes.
We have not seen any esports org do something this big
I was
ever.
actually hinting to the fact that Zan, again, pre-recorded podcast, just told me last night, guys, that the boys got the invite to the FaZeClan and Invisible Narratives launch party for the FaZeClan movie series and first film, correct?
Indeed, we will be sliding through.
Pretty hype. And again, when it comes time for all of this, though, it's very interesting to revolve around FaZeClan because it is a first. We've had some announcements being made. Rick Fox, Echo Fox, that fell through. Dr. Disrespect should have stuff on the way, but that might be further down the line. FaZeClan is set to be the first when it comes time for esports/gaming organizations to be involved in movies and films and their own universe. This is going to be it's going to be so weird.
Yeah, it's going to be insane. I admire the guts that it takes to say from day one, hey, this is a universe, guys. It's not just a movie. We're doing a whole franchise.
It's just so weird to picture FaZeClan, their creators, their streamers, their players as portrayed as superheroes.
Right.
And this is going to be very much subject to a lot of backlash, and rightfully so. If I would put it like this, if there is one organization that could pull it off, it would be FaZeClan.
Absolutely.
That doesn't mean it necessarily that they are going to pull it off or can pull it off, but I am going to be very, very curious what storylines, what plots are formed. Are they accurate? What are they not going to put in there? Is the Tfue lawsuit, is Tfue going to be portrayed as some sort of villain? We just don't know at all what's going to happen.
Would this be the first decent content creator movie if it comes out half good? Because Logan Paul has like 5 movies and they're all atrocious.
Yeah, it depends what you classify as movie/film. I know I think on Netflix I saw a League of Legends documentary. I that's a movie.
Yeah, I'd say that's different.
It was very well put together, but when it comes time for an actual esports org or gamers or creators having a movie,
can these people act? That's my question. Can they act outside of, because...
Will they have to? Will they just be voice acted? Like, yeah, obviously.
Well, they'll have to do motions and stuff. And I mean, and like, I don't... Because in my mind, these people are all amazing content creators, amazing entertainers, performers. But that is a different skill than performing, like, you know, for a film, you know?
Let me tell you, the FaZeClan, a lot of the creators especially, that content is very, very different from a movie and film.
Absolutely.
Clickbaiting you and Summer Rae is very, very... I don't mean offense. It's just very, very different, right?
I can't wait to see how they incorporate that into the movie somehow.
Oh, gosh.
Like somehow clickbait's got to be a part of it, right?
Yeah. And I imagine when it comes time for who they're going to incorporate,
that's the supervillain.
Yeah, you hope you look towards probably the big guys first, right? You look towards the initial founders like Adapt and the Reigns and the Banks and the Tempers and throw Seabass and others. And I imagine they'll go for them first.
Right.
I think I'm more so curious if they do eventually go down the line, will they include their esports players and members? Will they include a guy like Tfue or someone like Cloaksy who maybe are going to be technically out of the clan in maybe a not so good light?
Right.
So.
Yeah, I can't imagine they would put those people in.
Probably not.
But yeah, what they might do is they might have like Nico like show up as a cameo or something, right? He'll walk behind Banks while Banks is like saving a bank or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
We literally have no idea what to expect. So FaZeClan portrayed as superheroes. We can only speculate what's going to happen. We do give them props for being the first yet again.
Absolutely.
And when that time comes, I'm sure we'll break down it more for all of you guys.
On that same note, stay tuned because we are in communication with the studio making this film, Invisible Narratives, and they've let us know that they'll be giving us some more information as soon as they have it. So, you know, keep an eye on the channel.
Yeah, so when we know, you guys will know. As per usual, you beautiful freaking people, we're going to hit you with that nice outro. Before Zan starts, I want to say thank you all. Thank you all so much. Thank you all so All right, hit him with it, dude.
Jake's got the devil in his eyes, apparently, so he's bugging out. But let's hit it with the outro, guys. All right, as always, thank you for joining us for the Esports Rewind podcast. We really appreciate you guys tuning in. If you'd like to catch us on iTunes, Spotify, your favorite podcast platform of choice, by all means, look up the Prediction Esports Talk Show Network. That's PREEDICTION. We're right there every single week on Tuesdays, sometimes late Monday night, with a new episode. So check it out, download it. Audio listeners, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you so much. Aside from that, though, if you'd like some daily esports news content, like keeping you up to date on everything we just talked about and so much more, check out our YouTube channel at Esports Talk, as well as our website, esportstalk.com. If you'd like to get in touch with us, reach out, share a story, say hello to anything, all of the above, you can always find us on Twitter at talk_esports or on Instagram at esports_talk or in the comment section of our videos. We do read those, quite a few of them, So by all means, we love hearing from you guys. Please reach out. Jake, you have anything you'd like to leave the good people with?
Thank you guys for being here. We'll see you guys back here next week, same time, Esports Rewind. That was nice.
Yeah.
Stay safe, gamers. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.